Namaste and welcome to class. And thank you so much for sitting with me with your undivided attention. We are here in the Andes in Boyacá, Colombia. So beautiful climate. It's the land of coffee. And in today's class, I would like to continue with our exploration of the tyrant and the victim archetypes at the level of the second chakra. We have studied the generalities of how this force of the archetype have really polluted the original force of the male and the female, the two waves of creation that is present in all the template or the field, as it's called now. The field of consciousness is all made of these two waves of two polarities. And how we as a human race have turned it into a misunderstanding and an application that have not been updated and have not been put it into practice to really manifest things that we want. So let's move them into the second chakra. We saw the first chakra, which is when the ancestors give us their understanding of the victim and the tyrant. Oh, the second chakra is a marvelous thing, because you have two ovaries, you have two testicles, you have the two. And in here is when the two forces of the victim and the tyrant have the opportunity to reshape itself. Either they continue it in the unconscious way, repeating itself, by their magnetism, by the reference of the past, by the emotions, or the sacred womb of the second chakra, the alchemist, can really take these two forces, these two charges, and start creating a gestation of a new beingness, of a new energy. Now, in here, there are certain steps for your womb to really function, or the center of alchemy that is represented in the womb. Number one is at the emotional level. And in the emotional level, the womb holds the fear of existence. Do I exist? How do I exist? How I am creating opening the space. We need to understand the womb. The womb is a dark zone where you are entering to a cave where you have the tools. Let's say if you're creating a paint, you have the white canvas, you have the colors, maybe some other colors or medium that you don't know and that you need to create something, right? So here is the tools. The tools are there. If the tools are tinted with the victim and tinted with the tyrant, it will create the same thing. But in the moment that we are accepting and forgiving emotions, denied emotions. And this, it goes into the depths, the dark zones. The first time you judge yourself, the first time you judge a divine attribute. You judge love, you judge what you knew it, you judge your own life, you judge something that is primer and that is divine. This, in many traditions, is called the first fall, or the first time that you realize that you separate yourself from the divine attributes. You thought that you were not good enough, or that you were not smart enough, or not loving enough, and you start judging. In the moment you judge, the first separation, it doesn't matter in what rate, the first separation you have is the separation from the spirit, the separation from the vibrational nourishment of the pure highest vibration that have the two magnetic forces, the male and the female, the positive and the negative. So in that separation is you try to compensate, and because you are lost, you don't know what to create. So what you compensate is with the tyrant and with the victim. When we review your first judgment, there is a process of emotional forgiveness. You say, oh, yes, I accept things the way they are. I accept my creation. I create things I don't like. The husband that is not good, the wife that is nagging, the job that don't pay enough. But I tell you, any of this creation comes from your center of alchemy. It comes from that place where you either feel victimized by it, or you feel that, oh, I am giving myself this opportunity in the experiential world to learn something, to redeem my judgments about my own divinity, my own attributes. And in that sincere sitting, when you sit and say, okay, what really is it that I am judging? The judge is easy to spot when you are a victim and when you are a tyrant. Within, right? You're going to express this outside. But at the same time, that judgment can be in a state of forgiveness and acceptance when you don't no longer recharge it again and say, this is bad and this I should get out of it. When you stop fighting with your own creation. Because if you fight with your own creation, you are fighting with your own womb. You're fighting with your own polarities. You are not having the complete energy. You are dividing the energy accordingly to your belief systems. So the womb don't have the capacity to really imagine a reality for you. When you are charged with the victim and tyrant, your imagination is cut. And without imagination that is cut, you cannot feel the feel that you are imagining. For example, the victim imagine always a catastrophic outcome of things, right? Start worry, for example, using the emotion of fear. It takes it. It start going into the reasoning. Oh, I am worried because, so it externalized because my job, what I will do, I don't have this, I don't have that, what it will happen if this. And in that worry, it becomes so focused and so intense that you start feeling it in the body in a form of anxiety, in a form of agitation, in a form of ungroundedness. This is an example, a negative way of having the imagination together with the feeling. And the moment that these two, the imagination and the feeling, gets together in the alchemist center, your womb, you manifest it. Because it's in the emotional body that either the victim use it to create the same outcome, same thing with the tyrant, or you clear the tyrant and the victim by forgiveness, and you start having a perfect connection with the spirit that is the right use of imagination, the right use of feelings. The emotional body is a very strong one. And the emotional body can delude you can uplift you. In your womb, the second chakra is all about creativity, but you need to understand the alchemy, the creator in you, and how you create. If you are already witnessing the creation in our humanity of the tyrant and the victim archetype, let's review it and see what are the other methods that you can utilize the second chakra to create the life you want. Actually, not the life you want, but the life you need. Because that's the other thing. You create subconsciously what you need, not what you want. Because the wanting, it belongs most of the time to the ego. It belongs to the sense of surviving. So if I want a big house because if I have a big house, then I will feel more comfortable, more safe, etc. I want a relationship, so I will have an object or subject to love. No, you don't need necessarily that. This is all archetypes of the humans that have put on you to mold you in a certain way. What you need is to be more you. What you need is to rescue the real potential of your connection with your higher self that creates a sparkle of passion, a sparkle of, I am creating. It's life. Your alchemy center, your second chakra, is the expression of life that love to live, love to create, love to see herself through what she creates. It's a beautiful force that you cannot deny, but it has been polluted. The wombs have been extracted from our bodies. The womb have the cycles of our moon cycles have been denied, cut. No, we shouldn't. Shamed. All this part is part of the syndrome of the victim and the tyrant, right? The victim say, no, the shame, the worries, the illness, the recycle of thoughts, all that is not going to create something that is useful for humanity. It's not going to be a place where you want to be all the time. It requires so much energy. So the victim and the tyrant in the second chakra is when they have the most interaction. It's where the two polarities are dynamically exchanging, dynamically interacting. The the positive charge and the negative charge is very much in grinding itself to create the spiral of life. And it's in the womb that with the cycles of life, there are periods where there's more intense. It's like, I want a mate. I want to make that grinding. I want to create something that is meaningful. So either you create a baby or you make love or something, or you start inwardly using that energy to understand and collect much power of the womb, of the alchemist within you. So it's in the second chakra where you can reframe the archetype of the victim and the tyrant. You can see it that, okay, the victim is mostly adopted by the feminine force, in males as well, as we know. And the tyrant is more adapted to the male force. How that happened, I'm not sure, but you see that the female is more promptly to submit, to get it more in the quiet place, while the male wants to assert his power, his territory. So, but it's in their second chakra, we can reframe it. Thank you so much for sitting with me, and I will see you in our next lesson. Namaste.